Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here. It is Tuesday 27th of November. Just a quick review for you on the rainfall situation we've had over the last week, the last month, the last year really. Just wanted to review it and just take a look at it in context and see how things have been how things actually have been during the last year. It's just useful to take a review, isn't it, and a step back and see if conditions really are as bad as we think they are. This is the precipitation for the 3 months from July 1st through to September the 30th across Europe. And just take a look here, look through the Bachards. These blue colours here indicate 150 to 200% of normal rainfall, with rainfall in some places across northern England and the West Midlands up above 200%. Much drier though than normal, you can see, through central parts of Europe, but much wetter across Spain. So that's July to September. Now look at the period October. So this was a month of October. Generally across the UK, look, we saw 100% plus. In some places 150% across southern England, but look, much drier for Western Ireland and western parts of Scotland. Wetter across France and across Eastern Europe. Very wet weather here, but driest patches too. So actually that's quite a messy picture, isn't it, for Europe? You know, we've got these splodges of wet weather, but splodges of drier weather too. So that was how things looked in October. So really we've got 100% plus rainfall through October across the UK. We've got almost up to 200% rainfall across the UK from July through to September. So certainly wet conditions are showing themselves on here. As far as the last 30 days go, this is the month up to the 24th of November, and what this is showing is the rainfall chart, daily rainfall for Manston and accumulated rainfall. And the interesting figure here for me is this here. It's this surplus figure that we see here. So it's seeing a surplus of 0.3 inches across Manston, so around about normal rainfall, Manston being in Kent. Now Bournemouth, take a look at Bournemouth. Look, for the last 30 days a surplus of 41.8 millimeters or 1.6 inches, so certainly wetter than normal, and certainly significantly wetter than normal. Then look at Shawbury. So Shawbury, West Mids, rainfall around about normal, slightly more than you would expect, 62 millimeters in the last month. Now remember, this is up to the 24th, so this has only taken us up to Saturday night, so it's not included the rainfall that fell through Sunday. So this total here for Shawbury will be significantly increased now. And also there's Tiree, Western Scotland. Look, they're wet, 2 inches above normal rainfall, so wet conditions there. Now what I've then done is taken a look at conditions over the last year. So if we go back to Manston and have a look there, how do they look over the last year? Well, this is from November 24th 2011 to November 24th 2012, and look, 7 inches more rainfall than would be expected. So that's working out at around 25% more than would normally be expected. But look at this. This is Bournemouth, 9 inches more rainfall than you would expect, with a total of 1,020 millimeters so far, with a surplus of 240 millimeters of rain. That's a huge amount of rainfall there. I'm not going to say huge, it makes me sound too excited, doesn't it? A large amount of rainfall, let's say that. For Shawbury, looks similar, 9.8 inches surplus rainfall, with a total of 865 millimeters so far, so well above normal as far as the year goes. And then Tiree in Scotland, look, we've got just 2 inches above where they would be there. So actually, despite being wet recently, they are hovering around about what they would expect to see. But it's just interesting, isn't it, as well, to see these traces. Look, they've stayed above where they would expect to be through much of the year, apart from here where they've started to slip back into nearer normal figures. Look at Shawbury. Remember this dry part at the beginning of the year? Just look at that, we hovered around normal and we're dry. Remember that dry spring? But then look at this rainfall that's coming during the second half of the year. Bournemouth, again, look, tells that story of this first dry part of the year, and then look at that, look how wet it became in that second part of the year. And then Manston, well, Manston seeing rainfall above normal for much of the year, doesn't really pick out on the dry spell as much as it might that occurred during the early part of the year, but certainly as I said, you know, these areas, particularly further south, showing just showing how dry it was at first and then how wet it's become. So it's quite useful just to review these charts, isn't it, and just to take a look and see if what we actually perceive as being wet really has been wet. And by looking at these, I think we can probably safely say yes. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Remember, we're kept free of charge by the adverts around the screen and by you coming back and using the adverts and using the site regularly. So thanks again for watching. Bye for now, and keep the sun shining.